Hi everyone. So today we're going to be looking at the second extract from The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. Um, and there's two sort of tasks that we're going to be doing with it. Now, the extract is divided into two sections. So the first section you can see here is all about William and his friend Geoffrey and what they do in terms of their interests. And we hear a lot about how he dissects and breaks apart radios and how he likes music. And we learn a lot about his character. So the task that we're going to do associated with that is this very simple table. So I want you to give me three qualities or three adjectives that describe his qualities and just put a quote in. Okay, so you can even copy and paste that into there. Remember your quotation marks. So it's a very, very simple task there, just to learn a little bit about William Kikwamba and a little bit more about his personality. So that shouldn't be too difficult. Then it gets a little bit more complex. You have to read this very carefully because we need to understand something here. And that's about the farming seasons. So one of the main food sources, and we probably come across this when you were doing your contextual research, is enzima, or it's also called, it's a maize-based food. What's it also called? Ugali as well. And what it is in different parts of Africa, it's got different names, but it's essentially this sort of product here. I'll just show it you on the next slide. Sorry, this one. There you go, and it's a carbohydrate. It's a staple food source. So in Asia, many people consider rice a staple. In the West, it's often considered to be potatoes. But in Africa, in many places, it's maize, and they dry it out on these huge sheets here, and then they make it into like a flour, and then they bake it into these sort of spongy loaves. And there it is with some greens, some bitter greens, and some beans as well. All right. Now in Malawi, it's called nsima, and it's a very, very important crop to the people there because without it, they really, really struggle. So what I want you to do, he explains the rains, and the rains arriving in December and continuing to March. So what I want you to do is I want you to draw a cycle of the year. Okay, so I would do it as a circle, and I would have break it down into sort of four sections, so December to March, and you can list the different months as you go around the circle. Make sure it's evenly spaced. And then it tells you what they do at each point of the year. So from May to September, you'll start benefiting from the harvest. So May to September is when they've got lots of food, so you want to put that into your plan. December is when people buy fertilizer and seeds, so you'll want to put that into your little map, into your little diagram. January, most people are forced to tighten their belts and wait for the harvest. So January can be the start of the situation where it starts to get a little bit tough, and they call that the hungry season. So I want you to label that as well. And if everything goes well, the steady rains of December and January will allow the seedlings to grow. So again, you need to put the rains in there as well. All right. So I want you to just create a diagram, a cycle, if you will, of the farming season for them. Now, this is important to understand because in later sessions we'll understand the impact of climate change and the effect of severe weather on the harvest cycle. Here's a news link as well, which was just from last year, I believe, and it just shows you how devastating these severe and extreme weather changes can be on the people, and just how devastating it can be to the land and their ability to go through that planting and harvest cycle. Okay, so two tasks to do today. One is the simple table explaining the evidence of William's characteristics and qualities, And the second one is to read and create a harvest cycle for Malawian farmers. Okay, as always, I will be online if you've got any questions. Can you please make sure you submit your work at the end of the lesson and make sure you register, because we have to take registers for all lessons now and not just in the morning. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you had a lovely Easter. And if you've got any problems, just drop me a line.